Hello, what's up everyone? Cal here. Today I wanted to do a little something special, and that is something I wanted to do for quite a long time, but never got the time to do it, which is customizing my first airsoft rifle. So this is the very first rifle that I ever bought, the Tokyo Marui MWS CQB-R. So at first I did love the OG 2000s, look of this rifle, but as time went on, I decided, you know what? I want to make it a little bit more modern. So I've researched a lot and how people were modifying theirs. So today, this is my very first time to customize this thing. So hopefully this video, for anyone else out there who also looking for references to customizing their rifles. So hopefully this might help out. So yeah, this is what I'm going to do today. So please watch and enjoy. All right, so here we go. First, we're going to take down the upper and lower. Alright, and now we're going to take off the handrail. You're going to need a hex screw for the top rail there. Alright, now we take off the flash hider and any shims that came with it. Alright, now we're going to take off the front iron sight. For this, I'm going to need a pinch punch. Making sure I get the right size. At this point I realized the puncher that I'm using is just a little bit too big, so I just went one size down and it should just come clean right off, just like that. There under the front sight there is a tiny screw that you have to get out, and you got to use a small hex. Take off the screw here, and we're just going to use a regular screwdriver for that.
Alright, now we're going to have to take off the barrel. To do that, we're going to need a wrench you see here, and we're going to use a hammer and try to take off the barrel. I believe it is glued, so it does require a bit of force. So I'm just going to struggle here for a few minutes until I realize that there's a better way to do this, since I don't have a clamp. At this point I realized it'll be a lot easier if I combine the upper and lower for that extra leverage. But before you do that, make sure you take off the buffer and buffer spring in the stock. Don't be like me, and you'll have to figure out how to take it off. But it's fine, since you can still, you just have to take off the upper and lower and it'll just come off.
Pause this shit. Take that buffer. Alright.
Alright, now that we've loosened that, we will now unscrew and take it off. Since they used a little glue or Loctite, I'm not sure what it is, it's a little bit dirty, so here I'm just going to clean it off. Here I'm trying to figure out if I still need to use this barrel nut, but turns out I don't need this at all, so I figured that out later. Alright, and here we're going to install the new barrel nut for the new handguard. I'm not going to use any glue. I will try to tighten it with the wrench though. Alright, this part is completely optional, but here I'm going to install a gas block and gas tube. You probably won't be able to see it anyways, at least from afar, but I just think that that little extra detail is nice. Plus it might hold the barrel a little bit better, I'm not sure, you know what, I'm making bullshit up. Alright, now that's done. Here it's time to install the handguard. Here I'm struggling to put it all the way in because you're supposed to take the 2 big screws out. You dummy. Alright, first we're gonna screw in these little tiny screws on the side, making sure that the top rail is aligned. So you want to do is screw it in a little bit from one side and then the other, and just do it one at a time. There's no need to screw one side completely and then do the other side. Alright, for the big screws I'm going to need a Torx wrench. Again, here I'm going to take it down one at a time, little bit by little bit. Alright, now we're going to put back the flash hider. So get that O-ring, the little shims, and the flash hider then. Alright, now we're going to reattach the upper and lower. First, we're going to get the buffer and the spring. Make sure the small end of the spring is touching the buffer, like so. Alright, after cocking the charging handle, you will notice that there's a cool metallic sound at the end. Here I'll try to put it on the mic, so yeah, please have a listen. Okay. Okay, alright, so yeah. Looking good. Yeah, I think looks totally fine. Yep, now I've got like a lot more grip here. For right here, there was used to be the iron sight, right? So now much lighter. Actually, it is also a lot lighter too. More comfortable in the hands. Loving it. Alright, one more thing. Let me just quickly attach the suppressor. Fortunately, I only have this old school Knight's Armament style, but cool.
this looks like. Nice.
Alright, now that that's done, now I'm going to try and replace the trigger guard. For this, I'm going to use a special tool for this. If you don't, there is a small risk that you can damage the lower receiver, so yeah, please be careful. Alright, so with this tool, we're going to slowly, with even pressure, push out the pin. Of course, you can try use a pin punch, but the force of the hammer might damage the small metal parts that are surrounding the two sides that surround the trigger guard, so you might want to be careful with that. Here it comes off. The other side, you just need just to push it out. That's all you need to do. And there you go. Alright, at this point I noticed that the holes do not line up. So I thought this might happen, so I'm going to have to grab a file and file this down. Luckily, this trigger guard only costed like $5, 500 yen, so no big deal. Alright, gotta admit that I took a bit longer than I feel I should have, because I couldn't figure out which angle to sand the trigger guard. So I just ended up sanding just over and over again until I figured it out. So to save you that, I'm just gonna skip to the part where I'm finished. Alright, here I'm using the pin remover tool just to check if the holes align, and yeah, it's pretty good enough. Here I'm gonna just hammer it a little bit just to get it started. And then I'm gonna use the tool to push it all the way in. And then I'm using the light to make sure that the pin is flush with the lower receiver. Alright, now here I'm really struggling to get that small screw in, so I'm not sure if the trigger guard needs to be sanded down a little bit more, which is eventually is what I will do, but yeah, this part is really tricky, especially since the parts are like cheap plastic.
Okay, that took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but yeah, now we have it. We have the new trigger guard and the new handguard. So yeah, looking so much cooler. I mean, obviously preferences, right? But yeah, now that I have I've been using this gun for about a year, now, and sometimes just changing out the outside look makes it feel like a brand new gun. So I'm super excited to try this out. Maybe we're gonna need to get some sling points here. Unfortunately, I did buy a sling point here adapter for this Tokyo Marui stock, if you can see. However, I tried with my sling and it did not stay on, so which is super unfortunate. I'm super sad. But goes to show that whenever, when it comes to slings and securing your weapon, toy, you definitely do not want to cheap out. So yeah, so going forward, I want to try new red dot, probably adapter. I don't know if this is a QD point, right? So I don't know if I want to use a QD point here. I heard that using it just moves around and scratches the guard itself, so maybe it might be just easier to just get an official mag pull one, put it out here, get a mag pull one, probably replace the stock with a CTR or at least a hand of a stock that I know will work with my current sling, QD point sling. So hopefully, yeah, and then maybe a few more customizations along the way. But for now, I am super happy with this new rifle. So maybe some of you are like, oh, why don't you just buy, get the URG-I Tokyo Marui gas blowback instead? I would have, but unfortunately, they only come in 11.5 inch, if I recall. They do not have the 10.5, 10.3 CQBR style, which I am very fond of. So I'm super excited to have a rifle that, airsoft rifle that doesn't really exist without customizing, right? Or at least for Tokyo Marui. So yeah, having super unique gun, very exciting. All right, thank you all for watching. So yeah, this is it. I've already had this grip done a while ago, but now we have hand guard and trigger guard. And yeah, hopefully get rid of this too. We'll change this up. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed what you see, please leave a like and comment and subscribe. Yeah. But yeah, that'll be all. All right.